really had no idea. Okay, to talk more about the meteoric rise of Advent calendars among consumers, we're joined by Camille Moore. She's the founder of Third Eye Insights, and with years of experiencing in marketing and branding for both private and public companies. Camille, thanks very much for taking time to chat with us. There's a nice wave. So let's talk a bit about how did this happen? How did this evolve from simple chocolate treats to excite kids and get them focused on the 25th of December to what we just looked at?
Well, two things have definitely contributed to this, and the biggest thing is actually COVID. Because we spent so much time during COVID staring at our phones, and brands got so used to having such high quarters for how much we were buying at home during COVID. So it's really funny with a lot of the brands that I work with, there was such a dead period like coming out of the summer between October and November, and that's why they started launching these advent calendars even earlier. So that's kind of the big thing. And then also the rise of unboxing, of seeing kind of more raw, unfiltered, like mundane experiences, and how popular that is on TikTok and Instagram.
Do you get your hands on some of these calendars? Do some of the companies send them to you to check them out?
I didn't get my hands on any this year. I didn't buy any, and I actually wasn't sent any as an influencer. And to be honest, it's kind of a cash grab. You know, there's really a handful of brands that really took an opportunity to kill it. And I think that's really why we're talking about this today is for so many brands that we respect and love and covet and have taken 100+ years to build up their credibility, they're really losing it during this Advent moment, and it's confusing. It's confusing for the consumer because we feel duped and scammed.
Wow. Interesting. So are they profitable? Are these luxury Advent calendars profitable? Are people actually buying something like this for thousands and thousands of dollars?
Well, that's the problem, right? Is that the consumer who loves Chanel, who loves Dior, who sees something at, you know, an affordable price tag, to see an advent calendar at $875, well, there's really nothing in the Chanel store that's even as expensive as $875. So it seems like kind of a breakthrough, an approachable product to get access to something that a brand that people covet. But that's the problem, is that why they're getting such bad press is there's nothing in the box. So they're so profitable because they're really selling their name. And Chanel was like really the biggest culprit for this in 2021. And it was an $875 box. And one of the gifts for the days for the month was a dust bag, like the free dust bag that you get one shoe in when you go to the store. So it's really a profitable line cereal for a brand, especially for them to have a brand moment. But where the question comes into play is like, is that profitability worth it for the longevity of the brand?
Camille, your honesty is so refreshing. Let's talk about the popularity of these Advent calendars here in the U.S. compared to other countries. For example, China is seeing a big interest in Advent calendars right now.
Well, totally. I mean, the Chinese consumer understands the brand, right? And they are purveyors of quality goods. They respect what the brands represent. And I think they're among the consumer base that's becoming the most disappointed because they're prepared to spend for quality and for value, and they're not getting it in these advent calendars. And that's really actually for where I think this topic is quite interesting is be wary of these big brands that you love and respect, and they're copping out with these advent calendars.
Yeah, so let's talk about scams, because they're out there too. People may see it on social media and say, ooh, because I have seen the one that has the various whiskeys that people can open every month, and that seems reasonable. I mean, it's not tens of thousands of dollars. So are people getting duped by fake websites, fake sellers?
Yes, well, I would say at Christmas even more largely, there are so many scams. The one I saw yesterday, which is really crazy, they duplicated a real store that I knew. They said that they were shutting down. You had 15 minutes and it was 80% off the entire store, and they changed one letter. And it was just like this Christmas sale. So because advent calendars are so interesting at this time of year, it is a massive buyer beware. If the website looks a bit off, if something to the logo is changed, if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And if you're not someone that's super tech advanced, maybe you're buying something for one of your kids, do a secondary research on whatever your favorite search engine to see if you can find that product on the core brand's website. And if there's no proof of it on social media or on a search engine, and you're seeing it as an ad on Facebook or Instagram, be wary.
So, you know, right now at the North Pole, those people are getting on the naughty list as we speak.
100%.
Okay, so let's talk about just the old-fashioned chocolate, where kids look forward to it. Those seem to be doing extremely well.
Yeah, and they actually have a really cool brand story. So, advent calendars, like with the way that we knew them growing up, with like the chocolates, like a simple advent calendar was really big in the 50s, and it was actually Cadbury in the 70s that
Ah,
needed actually a branding moment, and they did that from the 70s to the 80s, but it really caught on and became like a cultural phenomenon in the 90s. So all yeah, advent calendars across the board are doing well. It's
mm.
a simple treat. It's a small gift. It's a surprise and delight. It's great for parents and kids to bond. And these brands are playing on it for adults because who doesn't want to give themselves a little present every day, especially one from Chanel?